Coach, you guys were up 9 and 11:55 mark, and then they outscored you 31-14. What were one, two, three things that went wrong during that stretch for you guys?
Well, I think a number of things went wrong. I mean, during that stretch we had open looks, and I think it was that stretch that you're talking about. I think in the second half, I think there was twice we had layups and wide open threes to go up double figures, and we just Leakey's three went in and out. That would have put us up by 12, I think.
Yeah.
It just so from an offensive standpoint, they were double teaming Armando, and I felt like we were getting consistent shots for Armando near the basket, and also that was generating shots for our perimeter players and driving opportunities off of closeouts. We just didn't make the shots, and we turned the ball over in those situations. And just defensively, we just didn't have, we just didn't have an answer for Burton. Nobody on our team could guard him, and they stepped up and made plays down the stretch. And whether you're at home or the road, you have to step up and make those plays, and we just didn't do it in order to win the game.
Hubert, did you feel like defensively it was sort of an extension of some of the stuff you talked about where you guard for a good amount of the shot clock and then they're able to score late in the clock? Did you feel like some of those situations got you today again?
Oh, 100%. I thought we guarded their plays. For the most part, I thought their actions that we defended them really well. At the end of the day, it comes down to one-on-one, and can you stop this guy from scoring? And one of the things that we always talk about is discipline and details, and I can't remember how many outside jump shots that we fouled. I think twice we fouled three-point shooters, and that resulted in 4 points. That would have been big for us today. A number of times we always talk about shot fakes stay down. We went for shot fakes. They were able to get in one situations, be able to score. And so I felt like we guarded their plays really well. But it's very difficult to win when you give 42 points in the paint. One of the things that we've talked about is protecting the paint, no layups and dunks, and you give a team 42 points in the paint, that's very hard to overcome, home or on the road.
What did you feel that Burton did that was special to get past you guys?
He didn't do anything special. He just drove it. He's a guy that likes to attack the basket, attack the paint. He can make a three, but his strength is, he has athleticism. He's strong, and so it's a problem. You put a bigger guy on him, he's quick enough and small enough to go around him. You put a smaller guy on him, he's big enough to post him up and get to his spot, and so we just didn't have an answer for him defensively in a one-on-one situation.
Hubert, was this as simple as a road loss, or do you feel like in any ways you guys took a step back today given the way you were playing in that four-game winning streak?
I felt like we took a step back. I do. I felt like we took a step back in our discipline and details. I felt like we took a step back defensively. I feel like we took a step back in the consistency of doing that for long stretches, when you have multiple chances to get it to double figures. And one of the things that I said, how many times did they score off of our mistakes? And those are things that you just can't do. And so from that standpoint, I think we took a step back, but that, even though you take a step back, then that allows you to be in a position to take steps forward. And that's my expectation for our team, is to take steps forward so that this doesn't happen again.
You had DeMarco in there for a long stretch late. What were you looking to get from him during that sequence?
Two things. One, defensively, and two, another guy out there that can make a shot from the perimeter. A lot of people talk about spacing. How you get spacing is having shooters. And in the first half, I think we had 6 threes. In the second half, the only 3 we made was Caleb's bank. And so we just weren't shooting the ball well from the outside and just looking for somebody to be able to knock down a jump shot or be able to make a play. And we took good shots in those situations. We just didn't make them.
Hubert, we were in the locker room and talking to Armando. He wasn't screaming or yelling by any means, but he said he was mad.
Good, I am too.
I was going to ask you, do you feel some of that?
I do. I'm upset. I'm frustrated. I'm not happy at all. I was really encouraged by the way that we were playing over the last 4 games. This was a great opportunity to continue to build on that. And it still is. I just wish that we would have been better.
Anybody else?
Hubert, Caleb seemed, I don't know, out of sorts a bit on offense. Besides that late shot, I mean, he only had 4 and never seemed to really be in a flow today. Is there anything that you can attribute that to specifically?
No, I mean, I'm interested in looking at the tape and being able, if there's anything on my part that I can help and aid or to make sure that Caleb's in a rhythm offensively, because he's a huge part for us, plain and simple, on both ends. But from an offensive standpoint, he's a guy that can make shots and he can create shots, and we definitely need that out there on the floor. And so I'm going to look at the game and see if there's anything that on my end that I should have or I will tweak or pivot or change. But we definitely need, Caleb very aggressive on the offensive end, taking the right shots, and he's just an important piece for our success.
Take one more after this one. All right, thanks everybody.
Okay.